Where do thoughts come from? It is really crucial to understand this because we think that when we're thinking, that it's us doing the thinking, that every thought we have is correct because it comes from ourselves. So how could it not be correct? It is what we're thinking, it's what we're believing. But this isn't the case at all. Thoughts come from different sources and they're not all from within you. And once you get this, once you understand where the thoughts in your head are coming from, this changes so much because then you know that you don't have to believe every thought anymore. Then thoughts, negative thinking doesn't have to bring you down because it's someone else doing the thinking anyway. So let me explain where thoughts come from. It is important to understand first what we are made of on Earth. And I have a separate video explaining this in more detail. I will link that one in the description, but I'll give you the short summary here. We are made of soul, the eternal part of us, the soul. And the soul is split into different fragments. One fragment is incarnated here in this body, but there are other fragments which reside in the higher dimensions. Which are also part of you, but not as inside of you as the incarnated soul part is. So we're incarnated soul, we're higher soul, which we call our higher self, and we are ego. And the ego is not the eternal part. It does live forever, it will live forever. But for the ego, this is the first lifetime. So the ego was created when you were born. So the ego is very young, very new. And then we have the physical body, but that's not so relevant for this part. So you are soul and ego. And the ego, to keep it simple for this video, you can think of as your inner child. It is very young, it is very fragile, and it doesn't know what the hell is going on. That it's more than that, but that's good enough for this one. So where do thoughts come from? Most of our thoughts are coming from the ego, from our wounded inner child, and these are kind of automatic thoughts. If you had the feeling that you were not good enough when you were growing up, then the ego, your wounded inner child, will constantly say in your head, I'm not good enough, I cannot do this, I'm an imposter. So those are most of our thoughts. And it's important to realize that, yes, you are the ego when you're on Earth, but it's not really who you are. It's not the real core of you. The real core of you is the eternal soul. So when the ego is talking in your head, it really helps to distance yourself, to listen and look at it with love, because it's a wounded child. It's really young and fragile, but it's not necessarily you. The thoughts are coming from a hurt child. They're not coming from you anymore, not from the eternal soul, and not from the person you are right now. You're not that child anymore. It's just still stuck in your ego. So most of the thoughts are ego. Some of the thoughts are coming from the incarnated part of your soul. So this is your conscious thinking. When you're problem solving, for example, this is really the conscious thoughts. So you could see this as more you. And then some of your thoughts are coming from your higher self, from the soul parts that are not incarnated here, but are in the higher dimensions. Once in a while, once you have this incredible insight, or suddenly you know the solution, or you have a creative impulse, this is your higher self in your thoughts. Those thoughts won't be as literal as the ego ones. It's not really language. It's more like intuition, insight. And then we come to the really interesting part. Some thoughts are from external beings, and these can be beings of light, the good ones, or beings of darkness, the bad ones. And you can really compare this as in those old cartoons where you have an angel and a devil on your shoulder whispering into your ear. It is exactly this. So the good one, that will be, for example, your spirit guides. They can implant thoughts into your head, so you won't hear it or most people won't hear it as I'm whispering in your ears, but you'll hear that as really your own thoughts, your own thinking voice. And then the devil does the same. So we all have dark entities that are attached to us, and they implant thoughts in our heads as well. I have a separate video on dark entities. They sound really scary, but they really are not. And this video explains why you should not be afraid of them and how you can overcome your fear. So I'll link that in the description. Definitely watch that one if the term dark entities is triggering for you. So we have these good guys whispering into our heads, but we are also conditioned that we learn not to listen to those. And then we have the bad guys. And because we have so much trauma is what dark entities attach to. We have a lot of dark entities, and they sometimes switch, they're not always the same ones, but every one of us is really carrying just lots of dark entities. That's just the way it is, and that's the reason why it's less scary, because they're everywhere. Everyone has them. We have lived our entire life with them, so it's not like, oh no, I have a dark entity, expel it. We all have them, and they're just there. They've always been there. So what they do? I explain all of this in more detail in that other video that I will link. But in short, they cannot hurt you physically. They are, all they can do, but what they are very good in, is implant thoughts in your head, and these thoughts will sound like your own thinking voice. So, for example, you want to apply for another job, and immediately the dark entity is there saying, you won't get it, or I won't get it. Sometimes they speak as you, sometimes as I, depending on the entity and on the person. So always bringing you down, making you depressed, all of the things that you don't want. But as soon as you realize negative thoughts are never coming from the incarnated part of your soul, and they're never coming from your higher self. So every single negative thought, everything that gives you fear, that gives you depression, that gives you anger, is coming, that gives you shame, especially shame, is coming either from the wounded inner child within you, which you no longer are, or coming from an external dark entity. So really, once you realize this, you don't have to listen to those things anymore. When you listen to those thoughts, when you accept them as real, you are listening to other people, you could say, saying stuff about you that's just not true. So why would you let those things bring you down? Why would you still listen to those things? They're not you. It's like you can really see it as someone standing next to you pretending they're your friend, but always bringing you down. Stop listening to that. Stop allowing that voice to be in your head. Just there are ways to heal dark entities, but you don't even have to go there. You can just stop listening and stop doing what they want you to do, because they will give you advice as well. They will say, I'm not going to take that job, I'm going to stay with my old ones, for example, or whatever. Stop listening to that advice. Feel what you really want, because what you want, if you feel like, I really feel like doing this new job, if there was no fear, then yes, this would be what I want. And that is your higher self. So your higher self won't be in language in your thoughts that much, but they will be in your feeling and what you really truly want in your heart. So instead of listening to your thinking voice bringing you down, listen to your heart, listen to what you feel, listen to what you want. And that is the guidance from your higher self, and that is the guidance that you really need. One of the ways to get out of that negative stream of thinking, so first by realizing the thoughts are not you, it is someone sitting next to you, talking to you, but it just sounds like your own thinking voice. So that realization is already a lot. But what else you can do is lifting your spirit, bringing yourself to higher frequencies, and then the dark entities or the ego won't, they will be on a different frequency, so you won't hear them anymore as clearly. So do what makes you happy, do a silly dancing, go to nice places, go to a sauna, go to the sunny place, whatever lifts your spirit, whatever makes you happy. Go to the frequency of joy, and in the frequency of joy they cannot touch you. So it's like a spiral. Because you are joyful, the negative thoughts cannot come into your head, and because the negative thoughts aren't there, you get more joyful. So once you get there, it's a reinforcing thing. So yeah, really this realization of what thoughts really are, that are not all you. Actually, most of them are not you. You could say 99% are not your incarnated soul thinking. It is either the wounded ego or it is external beings bringing you down on purpose. So the first step is realizing this, and this is why these meditations where you look at your thoughts and examine your thoughts are so important, because then you start realizing, when you look at it with this focus, yeah, why would I be thinking this? And indeed, this doesn't suit me. This thought really isn't mine. Once you start really examining your thoughts, looking at them from a distance, not judging them, just really objectively listening and thinking about them, you will see most of these thoughts don't make any sense. And the next thing you can do is really work, for example, healing the ego, which is my inner beings method, which I will also link in the description, and work on healing the dark entities that are attached to you. Both have the same result, because dark entities are attached to the traumas that we have inside, and the traumas are inside of the ego. So if you heal the ego, the dark entities don't have anything to attach to anymore. And on the other hand, if you work on healing the dark entities, this makes it much easier for the ego to release the trauma, because the dark entities are keeping the trauma alive. So you can work on either one of them or both of them, preferably. They have the same result. So I will link my inner being method. I will link my dark entities video. I have other videos on how you can channel your higher self, basically how you can do magic in this world. And this magic you can really use on the dark entities and on the ego as well. So I will link those videos as well, so you know what to do. Don't believe your thoughts anymore. Listen to them from a distance, objectively, and work on healing the ego and the entities that are attached to you, and everything will change. Your life will get so much better, so much more joyful, so much less depressed and dark. So hope this works for you. Like the video if you liked it, follow the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.